So, Dave, you are speaking at a very exciting event in Texas for the April 8th eclipse. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, thank you, Ksenia. It's a very exciting total solar eclipse, and the event is called Eclipse at the Canyon. So if you just search for Eclipse at the Canyon, you'll see all the details, but it's really an eclipse festival. I will be speaking there. I'll be talking about myths and stars, the connection between the myths and the stars in myths all over the world. But there's a whole lineup of speakers, there's a whole lineup of musicians, and it's really exciting.
You can camp there.
Yeah,
They've got food vans, all the goods,
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of
fun.
music, a bunch of speakers, a bunch of presentations, and then at night I will be going out and showing the constellations that are visible, pointing them out with a laser pointer. So a lot of people know all the characteristics of, let's say, Virgo, but may have never been able to actually detect the outline of the constellation Virgo in the night sky, because that's not something we're taught how to do,
No.
and it's not actually easy to do unless you go out and kind of practice it. It's not impossible, but you have to practice. So anyway, I will point them out with a laser pointer, and a lot of times people say, "Whoa, I didn't realize those constellations are
But
that
it's not
big."
really about the constellations, it's about viewing the eclipse,
So
isn't it?
right,
Yeah.
so to get back on track,
Thank you.
look, I know you talk about lunar eclipses and talk about solar eclipses, and I know that your listeners know all about those things. But if you think about the size of the Earth and the size of the moon, on a lunar eclipse, the Earth is so big it can throw the whole moon into its shadow. But for a solar eclipse, the moon is much smaller than the Earth, so it does not throw the whole Earth into a shadow. So you have to get underneath that path of totality to experience a total solar eclipse. And I'm, at the risk of over-explaining, I really think this is important for people to understand. If I have my moon here, white moon and red sun, pink, the sizes don't even match up exactly on every solar eclipse. Like you and I saw that annular eclipse, the moon was so close that or so far away from us that it didn't completely cover the sun. But this time it will completely cover the sun. But if you don't get right under that path of totality, what you'll experience is, the moon will go across the sun some distance, and then it'll start going back out. So you'll get a partial eclipse of the sun. Only if you get right under that line of totality you'll get the eclipse for 1 to 2 hours partial, and then that magnificent totality. It is just spectacular. I never experienced a total solar eclipse until 2017, and I drove 15 hours from basically Central California all the way up to Central Oregon to experience it in 2017, and it's spectacular. And this one in Texas, it'll be 4.5 minutes of totality. That's longer than we had in 2017. But if you don't get, you can be somewhere else in the United States or Canada or Mexico that's not under that path of totality, and basically what you'll get is partial, and then it'll back out. But unless you get under that line, which goes all the way up through the United States. But so for those who are still on the fence, I really encourage
About
you,
coming to the event.
or going to the line of totality. If it's at all possible, I would drive 24 hours to get under that line of totality if you need to. And of course, the event will be right under that line
It's at
of totality.
Utopia in Texas.
Utopia,
Great name
Texas.
to have an event like this.
Nearest to San Antonio and Austin are the two places that you could fly into and get to Utopia, Texas for Eclipse at the Canyon. But anywhere along that line of totality, it is worth it. It goes all the way up through New York. And
It's a very special event, sort of for many people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see an eclipse like this. So if you can make it out to have a look at the eclipse, whether you go to the event in Utopia or not, it is so worthwhile to go and experience a full solar eclipse, because it doesn't happen very often
you've got to
life.
be in the right part of the world for
to experience
the
it.
experience of totality.
So thank you, Dave. Come on, everybody, out to Utopia, Texas on the 8th and enjoy the festival, enjoy the fun with some great like-minded people. Experience the eclipse and learn all about the stars and myths pertaining to this amazing celestial event. Thanks very much.
Ksenia.